struggling to fit in a new environment is quite challenging for a lot of adults. Now, imagine when it is a child. Some children are being moved from one school to another for different reasons, but no one really bothers to think how this change affects these children. I have children come to me sometimes complaining about them going to new schools and how they are not comfortable with it, but they can't do much about it because it's their parents' decision. But then I always ask myself, here is this child worried, concerned, some of them almost depressed by just the thought of it, and the parents aren't concerned about it, or maybe they are, but they can't help it either. Now, I'm going to give parents the consequences of always pulling your child from one school to another. Now, I know most times there are genuine reasons for moving your child from one school to another, but sometimes there are parents that don't really have much good reason. Some parents don't just want to be uncomfortable. Once you do something little to them, they're like, I'm pulling my child. And maybe just a flimsy reason. Now remember, it's because of how you felt that you are moving that child. You're not considering the child. You're considering yourself first before the child. Know that it is not just about you, but also about the child. Hence, the decision to change schools should come from you, quite all right. But you must include the child in that decision. Why? Because it's the child that is going to be in that environment. It's the child that will experience the people in that environment, not you. It's the child that will be affected most by the change of environment, not you. Now you've put this child, you didn't care how the movement would make the child feel. You just made the decision and you've moved the child to a new school, and now the child is struggling in the new school. Now you're wondering, but in her former school she was doing so well. In her former school she was always the first position. What is going on now? You didn't ask yourself, is my child comfortable in this new school? Was the move too sudden for them? So parents, before you make the decision of moving your child from one school to another, make sure that it's worth it. Make sure that the reason is very cogent enough and it is necessary. And make sure that you include the child in that decision. Let the child know what you want to do and why you need to do it. That way, the child will not really fight it. Yeah, the child might feel uncomfortable, might still not be happy and all that, but the child won't really feel the impact emotionally. Most times when you change a child's school, it affects them academically because they will be struggling to pick up from where they left. Now you might say, but they didn't miss anything. I just moved her when she was in second term. Now it's third term in the new school. She should just adjust or adapt. But the thing is, most schools don't have the same standard. Now you might say, she's not really going to miss much. She's not really going to experience change that much. But that's not entirely true. The way the class is being taught in her previous school and this new school might not be the same. Some schools are very well technologically inclined, while some are not. So imagine moving from a school that doesn't use much technology to a school that uses a lot of technology. That's going to be a huge change for that child, and you didn't prepare that child for it. So it's going to affect the child academically, struggling to get their news, struggling to get their resources, struggling to meet up from where they left. You're not going to expect a perfect result from that child. And some children, from the moment they change school, that is where they start dropping in their academics. And when they start dropping, that is it. It will take a long time before they pick up, and some don't even pick up at all. I'm not saying you shouldn't change your child's school if there is an issue with the child in the school or anything, but let it not be all the time. It should be something that before you do it, you have considered everything, and it is actually the best thing to do at that time. Another thing you need to consider is that it also affects the social development of a child. Some children, when they change school, they find it difficult to fit in because it's a new environment. They are worried about a lot of things. Will the people here like me? Will the teachers like me? Will they be harsh towards me? Am I going to be bullied? A lot of questions are in the child's mind. It might not be very easy for the child to make new friends in this new school. It might not be very easy for the child to relate with the teachers. Remember, this child already has close friends, favorite teachers, and now you've drawn the child away and you've put the child in another environment, and the child is trying to make a new contact. And it's not every child that finds it easy making new friends or getting acquainted with new people in an environment. So you have to consider that too before you change your child's school. Then finally, changing a child's school can affect a child emotionally. I know some students that became depressed when they changed to a new school. It was so difficult for them because they've already zeroed their mind from making new friends. Why? Because every time they try to make new friends, within a short while, they will be withdrawn from that school to another school. So they don't have stable friends. Because of that, they zero their mind from making friends. They get to a point whereby they decide not to make friends at all, which is very terrible for a child to shut down their emotions. And that is why some children don't like to collaborate. They don't see the need to work with a team because they already have this detachment personality, feeling that nothing ever lasts. So why start it at the first place? Which is very terrible. And you'll be wondering, how can changing a child's school cause this kind of thing? You are thinking as an adult. Even you as an adult, when you move to a new place or when you change environment, it affects you too. You try to fit into. But because you're an adult, you manage it better. Now imagine a child in that new environment. How would the child react? It's not easy for anybody actually. But some people handle it better than others. Same thing with children. So please, as a parent, before you change your child's school, ensure that it is very necessary and it is worth it. I'm going to do a new video on how to adapt in a new environment. Make sure you tune in. If you've learned a thing or two from watching any of my videos, please do well to send me a DM. Thank you so much for some of you that have already sent me a DM without me asking. It helps me know that what I'm doing is actually affecting lives. Thank you.